Hi, my name is Eric Schutzlar, and I'm here with Preston Sallenbach, the founder of Nuvona Premium Foods. Thanks for joining me today, Preston.
Thanks, Eric. Nice to be here.
So tell us about how this whole product line got started of Nuvona Premium Foods.
Well, it's kind of a personal thing for me. I was looking for food for my family, and I searched high and low for the right food. I wanted the one that was the best tasting, the most nutritious, the one that was affordable. And as I looked, I went all over looking and wasn't happy with what I found. I tasted many. They were too high in sodiums and artificial colors, MSGs, trans fats, and I wasn't happy with any of it. Plus, it was very expensive. So I took a lot of time, about a year and a half actually, researching foods.
Okay, so you say that you weren't really happy with the ingredients that were in these other competing products. What sets your product apart from these competitors that you were researching?
Well, while I was looking at these products, like I say, I looked at the ingredients, how much fats and the different sodiums and the different things that were in them, and I tried to find one that was the healthiest. If I'm going to be giving it to my children, my wife, etc., I want them to have the healthiest food I could find. I just wasn't happy with it. The taste, and there just wasn't one out there. And I thought, if I can find the right people, we could create a line that would be better, healthier, more nutritious, higher in calories in case when we're stressed, our body needs higher calories. And so I just came up with an idea of creating my own line of food.
How long did that take? You say it was a year and a half, long process?
It took me quite a long time, yes, to the research and the development part, to find out what was the best way to package it and what would make it store the longest. There's a lot of false claims out there in the market of the 25-year shelf life. Some people can probably do that. I don't know that they all can, but the claims are being made out there. I just wanted to make something that was better quality, that I could give a good product to the consumers.
So this must have become a full-time job with all of the research you were doing for a year and a half.
We've done a lot of statistics, marketing analysis, and different things. We've had a lot of people tasting it, and they really like it. We're going to make some a little bit later today and have you try it, because I'd like to get your opinion on it.
I would like to do that
as well.
I've read a lot about non-GMO foods recently, and I know that that's not a trend, it's more of a movement, which means it's going to keep going, it's here to stay. What is a non-GMO food, and why is that important to me and to my family?
GMO is an acronym for genetically modified organisms, and everybody that eats needs to know about it. It's something.
Everyone then?
Everyone. Yes, because what's going on out there in the market today, the seeds and the things are being altered genetically. They're trying to make it so that a certain kind of a bug won't eat at that plant while it's growing, and it will just kill it off. But there's a lot of controversy with GMO foods. You can read about it everywhere on the web. It's in all the health magazines. We don't want to eat genetically modified foods. All our corn and soy and all those things that we have been using in the past, thinking that they're healthy, they're all genetically modified now.
So they're not the pure form of food that they used to be.
Right, they're not naturally growing like they used to be.
So does that process of genetically modifying, that possibly could take out some of the nutrition? Or it could introduce something else that's not healthy to us?
Exactly. It does change the nutrition. There's very little research done on the altering of these seeds and things. My understanding is, from what I've read, is that the animals won't eat it, and if they do, they're getting sick and cancerous and stuff. So
that's a big red flag.
Very big. Everyone should learn about GMO foods, and California right now is trying to do something to get all the foods that are labeled on the shelves to say whether it's genetically modified or not.
So that's going through their state legislature right now?
Yes.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Hopefully that gets through, because it's just not fair. People should be able to say what they put in their bodies. I mean, that's one thing they have control over in this world. It's their bodies, and they should be able to say yay or nay to that.
Right. What else is in their product, in the competitor's product, that's not in your product, and what's in your product that might not be in their product?
Well, when we kind of built this line of food, I wanted to look at the competitors to see what was in their products and how to better them, either replacing them with something that wasn't as high in something, or remove it altogether, as long as we could keep the taste there and make it shelf stable. So in our foods, like for instance, all our food comes in pouches like this. I'll talk a little bit more about packaging in a minute, but it says here that there's no MSGs, no trans fats, it's low sodium, low cholesterol, or no cholesterol. We use sea salt, and that's just in this one package. So we've tried to make all of our foods, our whole line of food, a little more healthy, come from more of a healthy perspective, rather than just throw a bunch of stuff in a bag that tastes good and giving it to you.
Okay, so we're talking about your product line. Tell us how many products are in that line that we can order right now.
Right now we have 42 different varieties.
And what do they entail? What do they include?
Breakfast, lunches, and dinners. There's several varieties in each of those categories. And then we have side dishes, mashed potatoes, corn.
We've got broccoli right here.
Broccoli. We've got some like apple slices and different little side snacks that don't need to be cooked, some of them. Then we also have a variety of gluten-free foods.
Oh, that's great.
And vegetarian foods. So we have non-GMO food, gluten-free, vegetarian.
And those are all things that are very important. They seem to be becoming more important these days. The gluten-free, I know I have several friends and relatives that are gluten-free eaters. So that's going to be very important for them. Yes. Okay, so we're talking about the premium contents that you have in your products as opposed to the competition. What does that do, all those premium contents, what does that do to the taste of your product?
If you ask any restaurateur, cook, they'll try to always get the best quality ingredients when they're cooking. Sometimes it's their signature. They're able to manipulate the taste to a certain level. And that's what we've done here. With the higher quality ingredients, makes for better taste when they're blended right and so forth. So. When you try this food and you try it next to some of the competitors, you won't believe it. You won't believe that they're the same kind of thing made for the same purpose.
And I remember earlier talking about this with you before we started, that some of the other competitors, it looks like they might have some of the ingredients, but they're little chips, for example, the noodles that you were talking about. Some of the noodles are just very small pieces of noodles. They're not full pieces of noodle or full noodles. Yeah. I understand that you've taken all of the fats and the oils out of the product line, and I know those are the things that can cause a problem with the shelf life. With the other premium ingredients that you have, what does that do for your shelf life of the product?
Well, shelf life is something that needs to be really understood. There's a lot of, again, I said, claims being thrown out there that say 25, I've heard 35 years now, right. Shelf life, but that's kind of not really true. People that are claiming those claims, those would be people I would ask for certification to say that it truly is that. I've heard stories of how that all came to be, and I just don't really buy into it. It's more of a marketing ploy than anything.
Why is it that they would not have the ability to stay on that shelf for 25 years or 35 years and still be good?
Well, because they don't have the proper mix of ingredients. There's certain things, once they're put in a pouch, when you mix things together, they cause a chemical reaction almost.
I see.
Okay. There's a couple different ways to package, and you'll see in food storage and emergency type foods, you'll see either a pouch or you'll see a number 10 can here. Those are usually your two methods. And there's pros and cons to each of these. The number 10 can is good if you're just putting in it, say, rice or wheat, a singular ingredient. You're not mixing things.
No seasoning, no flavoring, nothing.
Right. It's when you start mixing things and it doesn't work well in the can.
So this is just a one product thing. This is a full meal.
Well, this actual one,
something.
This is another brand that it is actually a mixed ingredient. So what it says in here, I'm not going to read this here on the camera here, but this is a mixed ingredient here, and it's probably not going to last
very long.
What they've claimed it to last, just because it can't. It can't. The way it's in the metal can, sometimes these cans get filled up. They do have the fats and they do have the oils and things in these ingredients, and then these will go sit out on a loading dock, waiting sometimes 2-3 days to get put on a truck. What
Either
happens
in the sun or the winter.
Right, and what happens with the can, this is a metal can, so that as the heat hits this can, it really creates a little oven And this stuff sits and bakes inside the can as it sits to get loaded on the truck to come to your home. And sometimes we're finding that these just get there and they're not even good. And then some of these companies are claiming 25-year shelf life.
And they're not even good on delivery.
And they're not even good on delivery. So that's something that I would really warn the consumer about. You know, you need to know what you're kind of doing here. Not all foods are created equal.
So what's the difference with respect to that problem and this packaging?
Okay, what we've done here differently is we've taken all the fats and oils and things out of the ingredient list so that it's not even in here. Okay, then we've put them in these are really thick, and you can't really see it on the camera. This is a 5 millimeter thick Mylar bag, very thick. We've really over-engineered this bag. But we filled it with the ingredients, removing all those oils and fats, and we flush it with a nitrogen flush, which gets all the oxygen and the moisture out. And then we put inside it an oxygen absorber. You've seen those, and they do those in the cans really regularly. And then we've heat sealed this with a hermetic seal, really a thick, wide seal. And so this is the best way you can package food. There's not a better way to do it. These will float in water. Very good way to package the food versus the can.
So you say you flush it with nitrogen. That's to get all of the oxygen out there, which actually causes some of that chemical reaction to happen.
Right.
So it keeps it more fresh.
Right.
With all of this process that you're taking, the premium contents and the packaging and all the work that's gone into this, it seems to me that it's going to have to come at a premium cost, but you're telling me that it doesn't, right? Right.
Well, what we've done, a lot of these companies, they're really, they're making a lot of money. These companies are big, it's big business, $20, $30 million a year companies. We are more interested in getting people good quality food and seeing that they're prepared for an emergency than we are about making money. So it would cost typically more to do it this way than that, but we have not marked up the margins that they have in their products. We've done it a little differently because we're more about getting people the food than making a lot of money.
That's very impressive. You don't find many companies out there that can say that these days. Thanks for spending the time with us today, Preston.
Thank you.
We've been here with Preston Sallenbach, who is the founder of Nuvona Premium Foods. For more information or to order some of their product, you can visit their website at nuvonapremiumfoods.com, or you can call a toll-free number, which is 888-520-1030.